Let's start by talking about the Detroit Pistons, who I think are one of the best stories in the NBA right now. They are, as we record this, 8-2 on the season, very easily. I mean, they had a little bit of a rocky start to start the year, but they've been on a run as of late. Some of the things that stick out to me about Detroit, they are relentless when it comes to points in the paint. They're averaging about 60 points per game in the paint, around 300 points total paint touches on the season. Against Brooklyn last week, they had 80 points in the paint. Now, that may be more of a referendum on the Nets than it is on the Pistons, but that's a huge number. Jalen Duren is having a fantastic year. Cade Cunningham, who I just mentioned, these are two guys averaging like 13, 14 points in the paint per game for this team. They're just a relentless bunch. A great defensive team, top 3 in the NBA defensively, and looking very much like a team that can win the Eastern Conference. What do you think of the way Detroit's playing right now? Has any of it surprised you? And do you think it's sustainable over a long period of time?
I certainly think it could be. We saw what a big leap they took last year. I think they could take an equally big leap this year to put themselves in that top of the conference conversation. Cade Cunningham was the #1 overall draft pick for a reason, right? I mean, this is a guy who we expected a lot of, and he has delivered. He had the same learning curve everyone else does, at least everyone not named Victor Wembanyama, but he has absolutely delivered. He's a hard worker. We've talked about this last season even when they were making their first big leap there. Players on that team love him. They love him because of his sort of locker room presence. They love him on the court and how much he is clearly interested in having them succeed. I've had player after player in that locker room tell me, no, he's gone to coach and said, hey, give him a little bit more of this, or I'll take a couple less minutes here or there, or this kind of thing, because he wants the guys on his team to do well. And you mentioned Jalen Duren. He has obviously been the hugest beneficiary of all of that this year. He and Cade, pick and roll. I mean, it has been really just tremendous to see Jalen's growth, and I attribute at least some of that to Cade Cunningham. It's just, you need to have a leader who will do both, as they say, who can himself take over a game and also who can empower the teammates. You mentioned the beginning of the season. I think you heard Cunningham say, I didn't really expect the double teams to come quite this way and from quite so far off the court. And he said, I'll do better. I'll figure that out. And he absolutely has delivered on that. There's no question.
All right, I'm going to take this moment to look right into the camera.
Do it.
And to tell all the people on social media and in my text messages that laughed at the idea that I would have Cade Cunningham in the top 10 in SI's top 100. All of you, shh, quiet. Nobody's talking now. Name me more than 4 or 5 guys you would start your team with more than you would Cade Cunningham. 4 or 5 guys that are playing better than Cade Cunningham. Of course, in the West, Wembanyama, you would. Shea, you probably would. Jokic, even he's a little bit up there in age now, but you still probably would. Giannis in the East, great player. But outside of those guys, Cade Cunningham is the man. Cade Cunningham
about Luka?
Luka, I'm sorry. Luka's up. I was going to bring Luka up because Cade Cunningham is the closest thing to Luka Doncic this side of Luka Doncic. Like, he plays like Luka. He gets into the paint. He's averaging like 10 assists a game. Like, he's a playmaker first and foremost.
And he's a big guy. He's physical.
Big guy. Look, that second half he played against Philadelphia, where he had a stinker in the first half. 2 points in the first half. 24 points in the second half against the 76ers. Again, that may say something about the 76ers defense. But Cade Cunningham going off in the second half, taking command of a game and helping that team win close, that is another step forward. I think you're 100% right. I think Cade, saw tough defenses last year, but coming into this year, I think it took some time, a short period of time, but it took some time for him to adjust to everybody knowing he's the #1 option, everyone knowing he's the guy on that team. Once he adjusted, it was a wrap. And that guy, back to you, camera, that guy is a top 10 player in the NBA. He was before the start of the season. He is right now. And everybody next year is going to have him right where I had him this year, inside that top 10. But it's not just Cade Cunningham. To your point there. Jalen Duren, he is an automatic 2010 almost every single night. His per 36-minute numbers are insane. Like, he's only averaging like 27 minutes a game, and he's giving you close to 2010. His per 36s are ridiculous. Another guy, by the way, betting himself in the contract negotiations. God knows what he's going to get in the offseason if he isn't a three-point shooter. He is an oak tree in the middle, rebounding, blocking shots, setting screens. He's going to be worth a ton of money. I don't think these things surprise me, but two things I was looking for with Detroit to start the season. One was, would their young players take another step? Like, they surprised everybody last year. I mean, how many, what was that, 30-win improvement from the year before? It was a remarkable run. Now you needed to take one more step, and I wondered that, and they have. Cade, Jalen Duren, Oscar Thompson, the lesser-known Thompson maybe, but still a really good player, top defensive player, giving you like 13 points a game. He's been good for them. And the other factor in with the Pistons that I was looking for was, they made some changes with their veterans. Like, they swapped out some guys.
Yeah.
And so I wondered if the chemistry they had last year with the veterans that were there would be matched with the guys that they brought in and out. But they lost Malik Beasley. They replaced him with Duncan Robinson. Duncan Robinson shooting better than 40% from three. Karis LeVert off the bench, 41% from three. So the veterans that they brought in and the veterans they have, Tobias Harris is not having a great shooting year, but he's still a really valuable guy, especially in the locker room, really good leader guy. Those veterans have worked as well. So I'm a believer. I mean, if they were in the West, maybe not, but they're in the East. Everybody's a player that plays like Detroit right now in the East.
And I mentioned them being physical. I mean, they've had a bunch of injuries too. I mean, to play like this and have us having this conversation is really fascinating. They lead the NBA in points in the paint. Who is it? Isaiah Stewart, right? He just got hurt? Yeah. But he's able to stretch the floor. I'm like, who was the last injury? Isaiah Stewart, as we sit here today. But there's a list. There's an injury list. And I think maybe that will start to catch up with them if they don't get some guys back soon. But the fact that they're doing it with these guys out, I think, is really, really impressive. And, they have just been tough as nails, giving that Detroit energy. They're not exactly the bad boys. They're not exactly the 2004 Pistons, but they have their own toughness that you really sense. And I like this team. They're fun to watch.
Yeah, they're physical. And that begins with Jalen Duren on down. I mentioned the defense. Last year, they were right around the top 10 or 11 in defense efficiency. Right now, they're in the top three. Opponents shooting just 42.4% against them. That's second in the NBA. So, look, their offense isn't even clicking all the way. They're kind of a middle-of-the-pack offensive team. And they probably, if they want to take another step to a championship team, they probably need one more piece.
Let's just get their pieces back. They're missing 2 starters and some rotation players. Yeah. Let's see what they have, and then by the trade deadline, we should be able to tell where we are. But do you look
at them, and now we're kind of nitpicking. Now, they're a contender in the East.
Yes.
They're not on Oklahoma City, Denver, that kind of level just yet, at least not to me. I think they're one piece away from that. Now, maybe you don't need to go get that this year, but do you think they still need that? I mean, do you think this current crop is more development can... who's going to be the guy opposite Cade Cunningham?
Who is from Detroit, who you have been trying to get traded off of his team?
I mean, I've been trying to get a lot of guys traded off of their teams.
For over a year.
We're not talking about Giannis because he's not from Detroit.
Nope.
Who have I been trying to trade? Draymond? No.
Think about the Suns.
Oh, Devin Booker. Suns are playing okay, though. So I don't think... I can't see Matt Ishbia. See, the guy, Evan Turner and I talked about this last week. The guy I'm watching the closest over the next couple of months is Lauri Markkanen.
Yeah.
Because Lauri Markkanen's having
for a lot
great
of
year.
places. There's a lot of places where he could fit.
He fits everywhere. This is something that Will Hardy told me when I talked to him last week. And Will wasn't saying this in the context of hey, here's my sales pitch for you to go out and get Lauri Markkanen. He's saying he works here because whatever system we play, he fits in. He doesn't need the ball.
Right.
And that, to me, is a perfect Piston. Right? Lauri Markkanen, his price tag's heavy, 5-year deal, $250 million. But at one point, he was averaging 30. At one point, he was the only guy in the league, along with 2 guys, him and Giannis, were the 2 guys averaging 30 and 6. He's a 3-point shooter. He plays both front court positions. That guy makes a lot of sense. Makes sense in a lot of places.
I was going to say, but yes.
Detroit's got some draft capital. Maybe you deal a young guy like Jaden Ivey. You can do some things to get not to put the cart before the horse. Got months to go before the trade deadline, but that would be a guy I would look at hard if I was the Detroit Pistons.
And you're right, they have assets. So.
Yeah, they've got the deals to make.